So I want to debunk a liberal talking point regarding the forgiving of the student loan debt. So obviously, this move definitely helps the Democrats. So naturally, propaganda right wing media needs to go against it. They need to come up with rhetoric that is supportive of the establishment GOP party. So what you do is you want to make this seem like insanity and it's going to ruin the country and inflation and blah blah blah. So there's this rhetoric about that this is not helping working class people. This is going to help elites, right, with their gender studies degrees and stuff like that. That's absurd. That's nonsense. That is right wing media, as usual, treating conservatives like they're idiots, right? They think conservatives are too stupid to see through this bullshit rhetoric. But then the liberals come back and they say rich people don't take out loans, they don't have debt. Now, maybe you could argue that they're being a little bit hyperbolic and not being literal in what they're saying. Um, but I don't see any way that that is a logical argument. Let me tell you what quote unquote rich people do. What rich people do typically, the way that you get to that point in the first place is about being very smart with your money, right? So the way that you think as someone who is wealthy is you always want to make your money work for you and you want to maximize your return. So you want your money in the position which you can get the most benefit from it. So here's the metric. Um, if you had enough money in the bank to buy a $200,000 car that is going to depreciate by, let's say, 10% in the next couple of years. So you take $200,000 because you have that kind of money, and you pay cash for a depreciating asset that declines 10% in the next 2 years. So you've depreciated your $200,000 cash by 10% in 2 years. What many will do who have that kind of money instead is actually take out a loan. They might even do a lease. But what they'll do is they will finance the vehicle even though they have the cash. So let's say, I'll keep it simple. Let's say they even do a 50-50. They will put down 100,000 on this $200,000 vehicle. So they're financing $100,000. They will invest that $100,000 into something that has a return on it, which makes them at the end of the 2 years potentially to be either neutral or to have gained. So meaning they started out with, let's refer to things as equity because you have the cash and then you have the value of the vehicle. So let's say it started out with 200,000 in wealth or equity, what do you want to call it? Right? They could in 2 years end up with, let's say, $250,000 in equity, um, maybe $230,000 in equity, because the $100,000 that they invest, let's say there's a return of, you've made, I don't know, $30,000, $40,000 or more, based on what you invested in. And then you look at the depreciation of the vehicle. So the vehicle you bought, it was worth 200,000 when you bought it. Now it's depreciated 10%. So you look at that loss, and then you weigh that with the gains from investing $100,000 into something that had a high rate of return. And you can either be like neutral, or you could be slightly positive, greatly positive. Um, Many wealthy people, that's what they would do rather than actually, because the way to get a lot of money is you want to be very, very smart about your money, right? Because it all adds up, right? How you spend your money, where you park your money, what you invest in, it all adds up. And that's why I remember from way back when I did retail, some of the wealthiest people were the hardest to sell to because they are the ones who really want to haggle and get the best price and all this kind of